Hey everyone, welcome back to a new segment that we have entitled Hot Girl 101. So, this segment is specifically made for all of the women watching and all of women who's in their hot girl era, all those women who's trying to be in their hot girl era. And I know that we are conditioned to be, just a normal girl, to be someone who's just a servant, someone who's just, conforming to the society standards. And I talked about like hot girl habits in my podcast, but I feel like I will reach more audience if I put like all of my wisdom in different platform. I feel so mayabang when I say wisdom, but I feel like if we women talk about, how to be better, how to be the woman that we wanted to be, we will start to realize our worth more, because that's what happened to me. For this episode, it's going to be very exciting, and I really intend this to be the first episode for this segment, because I'll tell you upfront that this really made a lot of impact para ma-reach ko yung hot girl era ko. And when I really started to decenter all these rats, it really made a lot of fucking difference. And I'm not being like a man hater. I am a misandrist. I'm proud of that. But that's not the point out here. I'm just concerned with all those other women who still trying to like decondition themselves. And I think when I examined all of the things that I do to reach that hot girl phase, is really focusing on myself. And if I'd say that what's the most important thing that I did to reach that peakness of myself, is to fucking forget about this man. So yeah. Also, I do have my coffee here. So I also have my coffee because coffee makes me, calm. And when I talk about men and how they're shit, I tend to like raise my emotions. I want to be controlled at this point. And this will also be taglish, just so I can cater to more audience. Also made a list here just so my yapping would be like organized, because kapag nag-yap na ako, wala na talaga siyang like stop. There's no like stopping to the madness. It's just, all over the place, especially if you're talking about how these rats should be out of our life. So anyway, so I have 5 tips to share on how Decentering Men impacted my hot girl era. And I am confidently, and I will admit that I'm definitely a hot girl. And you rats in the comment section can say whatever you want, that I'm not hot, but I don't want you, and that makes me hot. Okay, so yeah, let's start. And I hope you guys will learn something about Decentering Men by all the shits that I'm gonna talk about. First is shifting the spotlight, knowing that you are the main character. And by this, I mean know that the core of your life is you, and know that you got everything. Know that there's abundance of happiness for you outside men's attention. Because one of the biggest mistake that I did, I allowed, apart from centering men, which we are very conditioned at a very young age, I also seek male validation. And I thought that okay, at a very young age, I was raised by, or I saw how my dad is a shitty man. And I say that out loud. Like, a lot of people who knows me know how I hated my dad, because how he treated my mom, us, and how he's still acting at his old age at the moment. So we barely speak. I barely acknowledge him, Anyway, so I'm just so by shifting the spotlight, I mean, you have to know that, you know, you exist for yourself. It's just it's beyond the idea na you you don't want male's attention. It's beyond that. Knowing that, you should prioritize your happiness, and whenever you're with a guy, whenever you're getting that attraction, you're getting that magnetic experience, because again, we're human beings. So you wouldn't hear me saying that you should avoid men at all costs. What I'm saying is knowing that you make sure that you get out, or you make sure that you get something out of being with a man, that your presence is the prize. So if you're not getting something out of it, and at least you're being entertained, but if you're not being entertained, because most men are boring, so yeah, you have to think about it. How did it contributes to me being in my hot girl era? Because I get to, make choices for myself, and I get to know what I want, what I don't like in a certain relationship. So if this man is not pleasing me, if this man is not, conforming to my standards, I don't go out of my way and try to like bend it. Sometimes I bend it because that's just how I am as a person, and that's just sometimes it's just out of pity, because I have this tendency to give like these guys, like most of my exes, they were like, how do I say it, not to sound very arrogant, but most of them are not doing well in life. Most of them are, lost, because I feel like I do have that tendency to be attracted in those kind of guys, because I love when I see people, from 0 to 100. I love when people strive for their own success. So I thought that, that goes the same with men. Like I wanted to support them. I wanted to see them thriving. So I always go for men who's just, figure out things in their life, and most of them are not even, they're not in the, teenager era to be figuring out their life, and I still get attracted to them. So I will give them a chance. And sometimes, even though I feel like, they're not treating me well, I feel so bad turning them down, because I thought that, oh, I'm the only gem that they have in their life. And I know it's kind of like, I'm not sure if it's a good thing. I'm not sure if it's even an evil thing to do, because so yeah. But going back to my point, this is the reason why I don't want to do like a podcast and me talking, because it doesn't sound so serious, and you may not believe me when I say this, but this is just, I think this is another reason why Decentering Men makes you more pretty, makes you more gorgeous, because you don't take them seriously. Like you don't give a fuck, because I've been there, and I've been in the situation where I actually embody being a girlfriend. I embody being their other half as if I'm their wife, and that's really freaking exhausting. So yeah, anyway, going back to my first point, make sure that you are you. Make sure that you don't add them up to your life as if they're like a possession, as if they're someone who's your responsibility, And that's the reason why after my first relationship, I never posted anyone that I've dated. I've never posted like any man that I've seen, any man that I've been into a relationship, because I've learned my lesson, and I don't want any man to be part of my social media, because I felt like my social media, it's me, and I don't want to be putting, or I don't want a man to be part of my identity. Like you're just a subtitle in my life. Like you're not even part of the priority. You're not even part of like, you know, my personality or whatsoever. Like, you're not even a hobby, you know. So I don't want any man to define me. I don't want my choices in men to define me, because I go through men as a fucking, you know, just out of boredom. Like, when I examine my choices in men, it's just purely freaking boredom. Like, I'm not doing anything. I don't have anyone to talk to that's just gonna listen to me yapping. So that's why I'm doing this podcast now, instead of like giving another man a chance, because we don't even have enough entertaining topics to talk about. So I'm just gonna do a podcast anyway. So yeah, how I do this is I live independently, I travel solo, I do things alone, but I think I'm gonna, you know, talk about that in a different episode, because I also want to have that segment. But overall, you know, make sure that you know who you are, and by knowing who you are, it makes you more like, it makes you very hot. Knowing who you are, knowing what you want, it makes you more energetically attractive. And to be attractive is not to aim that a man will drool over you, because they will drool with anything. So yeah, next is emotional minimalism. Stop giving free therapy. So you have to protect your peace. Don't waste energy analyzing men's mixed signals or lack of effort. So this is just, you know, you don't waste your time trying to understand why they are shit. You don't need to know it. You don't need to send that paragraph. And you know, in TikTok, there's a lot of women like trying to contradict creators who's trying to say that do not send that paragraph, that will not do anything, you know. But for me, I learned a fucking lesson. Like, sending that paragraph will not make that man be a decent human being. Like, it's not gonna work out. Like, even if it's not just a paragraph, even if you give them a lot of chance, it's not gonna work out. And knowing me, I do give chances, because again, most of the men that I've been with, it's just, I feel so bad leaving them in that situation. I feel like I'm just the only good thing happening to them. So I would mostly really give a chance. But I know, and I am accountable with my actions. And when you give a chance, do not expect that this man will, you know, will change, and they will like see it as a decent person. They will see it now. Oh my God, I'm so lucky that she even like accepted me again. But most men doesn't think that way. They don't have that complex way of thinking. They don't have that capability to really understand how it works. The only thing that they're just so surface level type of species. So I've learned that the hard way. So trying to like, you know, trying to explain it to them in a paragraph form, it will only confuse them more, because again, they don't understand it. Their brain is not working that way. It's not so, you know, they don't know how to understand like actual relationships. So I'm saying that in a straight face, because I know, and it doesn't matter what their age. That's just how it works. So I make sure that, and also when I think of this, like when I'm in that pick of trying to mother a grown-ass man, I know that it will be stressing me out, and being stressed out will form wrinkles. Being stressed out will be, you know, you will lose sleep. You will not have the energy to, you know, to fix yourself, to, you know, to go out and be beautiful. And I don't like that. I don't like that, because I've been there. I don't like that moment when I look at myself and I see just someone crying every day, waiting for this rat to respond to her. I don't fucking like that. And you know, um just cut them off, and do not ask for a fucking explanation. And even if they explain themselves, more likely it will be nonsense, because men are just like that. You know, they are not so complicated. They do not know how to fully own up to their words. And sometimes it still frustrates me, like, how can a certain person talk about shit that they know that they cannot do, they know that they will not be. But yeah, at the end of the day, you just have to understand the men's anatomy, that they're not just, that's just them. And that's why it's so tiring. It's so tiring to, see women following this other coaches saying, oh, this is how you make your man, blah blah blah, and fuck that shit. But yeah, do what you gotta do. But again, I'm just telling you that you're gonna wake up one day and know that, and the only thing that you can feel is exhaustion. And I don't want to be in that era anymore. It made me so fucking ugly, and I don't want to be ugly. I want to be attractive. When I look at the mirror, I want to look freaking hot. So if you want to be hot as well, make sure that you prioritize your fucking peace, and stop thinking about it. Stop trying to get a reason out of their actions, because most men, they don't really know why they're doing such things. Like for sure, like, women can explain why they're doing those nasty things, but they themselves, they don't understand themselves. So there's no point in trying to like overanalyze them, because they can't even comprehend what they say and what they actually do. So yeah, moving on. Level up and not wait up. So focus on self-improvement, fitness, finances, and personal goals. When you elevate, you naturally attract higher quality people, not just men. So yeah, for me, I make sure that I do have my routine. I meal prep, I do walking, I do fun activities for myself, because it's just wasteful. And I always make sure that my time is valued. Like, I like to just rot in bed, but if I feel like rotting in bed is just, for me, it's like a treat, because in weekdays I really work my ass off. And so in weekends, I make sure that I have a lot of free time, that I can chill. And most men, they don't have that. Most men are just in survival mode. And one thing that I've learned, because again, for some reason I was attracted mainly with men who's in survival mode. So this type of men will drain you, because they are confused, they are frustrated with their life. So no matter how you try to help them, especially in your relationship, no matter what you tell them, okay, this is what I want you to do, this is what I need in a relationship, they can't give that to you, because they are lacking. They are performing out of lackness, and if you're a successful woman and you're with someone who's in survival mode, you can't meet halfway, because your halfway won't even be their 1/4. Because again, they're trying to like find themselves, and it's not going to work. So make sure that you just do what you do, and have your own goals, make yourself busy. And yeah, when you elevate yourself, aim to meet your higher self, and not be in the mindset na if you improve yourself, then you will attract greater men, because that's not how it works. You know, if you're a hot woman, most likely men will fear you, men will be repelled by your presence, because again, they'll be intimidated, because most men are in survival freaking mode, and they don't know how to, you know, improve themselves, and they're just occupied with, I don't know, finding ways to pay their bills or whatsoever. So yeah, make sure that you develop hobbies and things that you wanted to do. Find your passion, and do not waste your time finding a man, because that's just not worth it. Okay, moving on is rewiring your brain. Know that men aren't the goal, you are. So break free from societal conditioning that tells you a man's attention equals success. Reaffirm that your worth isn't tied to male approval. So I think this is one of the most important thing, because again, as early as we can watch TV, we always see in Disney movies how there's a prince charming that will save you. So when you grow up, you thought that having a man in your life will make it easier, but it turns out that it's not. They brought tragedy in your fucking life. So it's kind of like confusing, right? Because you thought, oh my god, why is it like this? Maybe I'm doing something wrong, because I thought when a man came in to my life, I thought it would be fairy tale. I thought it would be a happy ending. So maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not doing enough. And that's very normal. And I'm also learning it all throughout this era, that I have to be graceful with myself. I have to like accept the fact that, you know, we are really conditioned, and we are really raised in a society wherein it favors men, and it seems like we always have to bend backwards, we always have to adjust to stop, and now no one's stopping me. You know, when I decenter men, no one can stop me from saying that this man are rats, this man doesn't add up to my life, and I don't fucking need them. And if I ever engage with a man, I make sure that they're just like, you know, toys to me, and I make sure that, you know, I don't put so much value in that relationship, just because I've learned it the hard way. And I never want to be in that dark hole again, where I try to like save the relationship, because what am I saving it for? For what? For me to have a husband? For me to get married? Like, what's the benefit of marriage anyway? Like, I never believe in marriage. Even though I've been with a long-term relationship, I never aspired to be married, because I feel like that's just going to tie me up. And yeah, so make sure that you try to change your mindset, because it's not going to be easy. Because imagine, that's the rewiring that you're trying to fix is from the very young age. That's how you see, or that's, you know, those kind of contents that you're seeing as early as you can understand what you can see in a television. That's how far you're trying to scrape your brain from. And be graceful with yourself. Do not try to like gaslight yourself when you still feel that ick of loneliness, when you feel that ick that you wanted someone to be with. You're still trying to get that romantic moment out of a man. It's definitely normal, but trying to exercise this, it's going to be a muscle memory, and you'll learn that you can be happy, and that you can be satisfied in a lot of ways. And there's a lot of things, there's abundance of things to do than chasing a man, and then trying to like do a lot of mental load for a man. So yeah. And last but not the least is no more bare minimum love. Set your boundaries. So again, you can give chances if you want to, but you have to take accountability for that. If you give a chance to that man, never expect that they will see that as how you see it. Okay? And know that, if that man is not giving what you can give to yourself, more than what you can give to yourself, then it's not going to be worth it. And I'm also trying to teach that to myself, because again, I have the habit of, I develop a habit to give chances to medium ugly guys in survival mode. And I'm trying to rewire my brain with that. I'm trying to like, oh my god, I don't want to do this charity work anymore. Because I felt like most men that I've been with, I'm not really attracted to them. I just love the idea that, oh, they're not that rich, but I think they're striving for that, And yeah, I feel so bad for them, so I just thought, oh my god, it must have been hard for them. And my dad is never that masipag, so when I saw a man who's trying to like build his life and start everything from scratch, even though he's in an old age, I feel so bad for them, and I don't want to leave them, because I feel like, maybe being with me would be, I don't know, the reason for them to leave. A will for them to leave. So I just felt like it's so rude to leave someone who's starving, to leave them to death. But again, you have to set the boundary, like, okay, the charity work is done, and I think, but if it's about like, again, don't follow what I'm doing. Because if anyone is like doing you a lot of abuse, and you're still like, if you're talking about domestic violence, if you're talking about physical, emotional violence, and that's not great. Like for me, I just find it funny, because I feel like I'm also enjoying myself when I try to like give them charity attention and all that shit. But yeah, but still, I want you guys to take this seriously and understand that Decentering Men really works magic in being hot and have fun in life, and just enjoy the attention from this man, but never see it as a trophy. Never see it as an aspiration that, oh, I have a man and I'm beautiful. And that being single, being alone, and being so authentic with yourself is a privilege. Because again, a lot of us are conditioned to be just a slavery to men's validation, and you having that courage and making our ancestors proud, making our women who fought for our rights early, I don't know, like back in the 60s or whatsoever, or 90s. I'm not really so fluent in terms of the time frame, but those our ancestors who fought for our rights to have an individualism in this society, we are making them fucking proud. So if that man is not giving you all the privileges to be with your presence, then you don't need them. Okay? Make sure that you have your own money. Make sure that you can pay for all of your bills, because again, having money can allow you to get out of situations that you don't want. So when you engage in a man, it's just, for me, it's just a charity work. It's just it's just an experimental scenario in my life, but it's not a life and that I am with this man because I'm going to die, because I can't have a bank account if I'm not with this man. So make sure that you have the freedom, okay, that you can deal with men and you can discard them whenever and however you want to. And that's very fucking powerful. Like, okay, like this man can say that they've experienced you, and so what? Okay, know that you should have the power, and having the power is knowing that you are you, regardless if that man will be a decent partner with you. So yeah, I think that's everything. I think I'm gonna wrap it with that one because I don't wanna yap a lot and bore you guys. But I hope that you learn a lot from this segment, and I hope that you get what I'm saying, because I feel like I'm still just yapping and yapping. But thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you on my next Hot Girl 101 tips. Good night.